The world would be boring because dance is its own entity in itself, but dance is also a muse for other many different avenues as well. Um, Entertainment business would not be what it is without dance.
Yeah.
Um, how do I put this? Gentlemen clubs would not be what they are without dance. Like the
Yeah, you're
world would
right.
be
You're
so
right.
boring if dance was not a thing. Like it would be
Yeah.
so black and white. It's like watching a static TV.
Welcome to the Unknown Options, a place where we explore the unknown options. My name is Will, and today I have with me Coach T. Coach T, it's great to have you here. Your journey is important, so we want to highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly. For someone who might not know, what is Savage Cheer Life?
Savage Cheer Life is a cheerleading training and choreography company that specializes in the stomp and shake style of cheer. Stomp and shake style of cheerleading originated at HBCUs here in North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina during the 70s and 80s at schools like Virginia Union University, Winston-Salem State University, South Carolina State. The list goes on. It's unique to the African American culture and it's blowing up all over the country.
Okay, I love that answer. I'm gonna go a little deeper. For someone who might not know, what is an HBCU? I mean, I know me. I went to a
Me
PWI. I think
too.
it's
Yep.
called UNC Charlotte. Go Niners! But what's an
A
HBCU?
HBCU is a historically black college or university.
Okay, okay, awesome. That's a good. I just want to let everybody know if they didn't know. Um, I actually, side note, I actually like tried to go to Morehouse, but I ended up at Charlotte, so it is what it is.
Fun fact,
So
I
how
did
did
not want to go to a HBCU at all. I knew that straight out of high school.
Why is that? This is going to be a little off topic, but
Because I feel like I grew up in the culture. I got enough of the culture experience.
Mm,
And when you go out here in the real world, the culture is a niche. It's not an everyday experience.
very true. That's good, and that's very true. I know at my job, I was telling the last interview, there's 60 people on like my team, and only two of us are black. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you get looked at a lot. How did Savage Cheer Life get started?
Savage Cheer Life actually just started as kind of like a blogging type thing. I would share videos of myself cheering on my personal pages, and I would always get a lot of love from my peers, from people that just follow me and stuff like that. So I just kind of created a lane for itself. And then I found that I really had a passion for choreography. And then my cheer sisters were like, you need to make a business out of this. There are teams that need your help. And that's how it turned into a business.
I love that. You can turn anything to a business nowadays, honestly, and I love it because I'll turn everything to a business. Um, um, why is because I mean, obviously, with social media, people like talk reckless on the internet. They say this and that about really anything. But why is cheerleading, like choreography, like training in your specific niche? Why is it important?
I think it is important because, for one, when you're new to the stomp and shake style of cheer, a lot of times people do not do it right. And
Mhm.
if you're going to try something new and try to emulate something else, at least do your research. At least put in the work to actually understand where it came from and why we move, how we move, why we do what we do. And present it to the world in a way that you know they'll accept it. You know that they know that you've done your research because it's all over the performance. And it's important when you're trying to share what is so dear to our hearts, and you have to do it correctly and delicately.
I love that. I love that. Obviously, you told us how you got started in starting this business, but I'm probably thinking you had a background in cheerleading. Can you like tell us like your path from like high school and college and how you ended up where you're at right now?
Absolutely. So I actually started in gymnastics, and then I did cheerleading, and then I stopped for a little bit, and then in middle school I got back into cheer at school, cheered all the way through high school, cheered through college. While I was co-captain of Cheer Nation at UNC Charlotte, I was captain of Powerhouse All-American Go Squad, which is an All-American Stomp and Shake team sponsored by Powerhouse Spirit Competitions. Um, and then after college, I kind of overlapped the start of Savage Cheer Life and the end of my college career. And during that time is when I also started coaching for Queen City Extreme Youth Network. So that's kind of my path of being a cheerleader going into a cheer coach.
Okay, I like that. How influential were the jobs that you got at UNC Charlotte to starting Savage Cheer Life?
Hmm. Honestly, they had some influence, but not a lot. Personally,
Mm,
my entrepreneurial spirit comes from my mom. She was an entrepreneur for almost 2 decades. So the first almost 20 years of my life, I saw her wake up and run her business, and I just knew from a young age I wanted to be a boss.
mm. That's good because a lot of people like me, I know my parents definitely wasn't entrepreneurs, so it's good to see that you had that influence. And I know you probably see it in your friends like who don't have like I call it drive, but it's like I don't know if it's drive, but it's like maybe it's just the nature of some human beings. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure.
in you. It's not on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. You're definitely right. Can you give us like I guess like your day to day or an average day to day of you running Savage Cheer Life and maybe like one of the training sessions or something like that encompasses your day. I guess.
Okay. So really my days are like split up between multiple tasks. My brain works best when it's working on multiple projects at once. I don't know why, it just does. But day to day, wake up, I go to my main job. I work in administration for an engineering company. Get off from that, I probably work in like some training schedules because when you say, for example, I have a client that booked for the whole summer, you're going to progress over the summer. So at the first session, we do our skills assessment, and that's how we know what direction we need to go in. So I'll work on schedules. I'll work on some marketing materials, just making sure I'm staying on track with what I want to do throughout the year. As far as marketing and specials, I have a ton of specials going on all the time. After that, I go to my second job, which is just cleaning buildings, pretty simple. I go and get that
Yeah.
done, and then I'll probably have a session later on in the evening. I go to my client. We do a nice little 45-minute session. Whatever we're working on that day, it could be strength and conditioning, it could be motions and technique, whatever I've set the goal for that particular training session. And then I go home. I probably pick some food up on the way because I'll be tired. Been working
I
from like
feel it. I feel
6:30
it.
in the morning and don't get home till like 7 or
Yeah.
8. So I have like
Oh man.
10-hour days.
Dang. Hustler. What makes a good client and what makes a bad client?
Mm, I think there's no such thing as a bad client. I think that when it
Mm,
comes to coaching, it takes the right coach. And I know that from experience, especially when it comes to tumbling. Like tumbling, there are a lot of people who have mental blocks. There are a lot of people that can do a skill on the tumble track or do it with the spot, but they can't do it by themselves. So it's not necessarily a bad client. It's just not the right match. And that's okay. I hope you find a coach that works for you. Good clients,
mm.
good clients, they allow me to push them. I push my athletes. You may be mad at me one day, but I promise it's gonna pay off down the road. Another characteristic of a good athlete is doing homework, even when I don't ask you to, because that shows me that you want it way more than I want it for you. Because I'm gonna want it for my athlete regardless, but you can't want something for somebody if they don't want it for themselves. So that's what I think makes a good client.
I love that. I like that. I like that answer. I ain't gonna push back on the bad clients, but I like it. If you were a younger you, let's say Coach T at 18, just graduated high school, but you have the knowledge that you have now, what would you do differently?
Mm, I probably would have minored in business, honestly, because yeah, I got that firsthand experience and I'm okay with figuring things out because if I want something, I'm gonna go get it. But,
Yeah.
my major was biology, so my minor could have been business. That could have been the little bit of head start on the business side of doing things because I'm already in there getting a degree, so I might as well minor in
Yeah.
something that can help me with my business as well.
Yeah. That makes sense. Let's say we got a young person, say they're 15, uncoordinated, clumsy, don't know how to walk straight, and they come to you. How can they become like a professional cheerleader? Like, what would you do to them to help them like really believe in themselves and become good at what they want to do?
Well, first, I want to define professional cheerleader because when you say professional cheerleaders, people think the Dallas Cowgirls. Those are not cheerleaders, those are dancers. When you go to those auditions, they
Mm,
are not in there doing cheers and saying go team. They might have a chant or something that's collective, but no, they're doing
yeah,
pirouettes, they're doing turns, spins, jumps, all those type of things. It's not like basing a two-man stunt or a one-man stunt. Like they're not doing cheerleading things. So professional cheerleader, that's a different lane. But to cheer like a savage, I could get you there.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
honestly, with that type of client, boy, I would have my work cut out for me because we have to start from ground zero. Like we just got to get you to the baseline. Like, unfortunately, you're
Uh-huh.
not at the baseline yet. And it's going to take a long time to get to that level, where you can try out for a college team and make it. You're already 15 years old and you're uncoordinated, no rhythm, no experience. You behind already. You got to play catch up.
Yeah, yeah,
You got to play catch up
yeah,
at that point, especially when it comes to sports. You're 15. That's that age where like people they have that growth spurt. That's when they get real good at their craft, and you just now
yeah.
starting. So you just gotta build some trust with that client because it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen in 6 months either. So if
Mm.
you're that person, I'd love to help you out, but understand it's going to be a long process. It's not a wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna be the baddest thing on the block. You just not.
Sure. I like it. That's real. It's real, but I like how you still said that you would still help them. Because I know me, I'd be like, hey, bro, you lost cause. Um, we going well. That concludes the first part of the interview. We're gonna turn it into the not so speed round. The not so speed round is like just what it says. It's 4 questions that it's supposed to be speed round, but it usually ends up not being the speed round. So the first question, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. What would happen or what does the world look like without, I'm not going to say cheer because it's too specific. I'm going to say, what does a world without dance look like?
Hmm. The world would be boring because dance is its own entity in itself, but dance is also a muse for other many different avenues as well. Um, Entertainment business would not be what it is without dance.
Yeah.
Um, how do I put this? Gentlemen clubs would not be what they are without dancers. Like the
Yeah, you're
world would
right.
be
You're
so
right.
boring if dance was not a thing. Like it would be
Yeah.
so black and white. It's like watching a static TV with no color.
Yeah.
And so where's the
That's good.
fun? Like where's the two
True.
step that you do when you don't know the line dance? Like there's
Yeah.
dance brings people together. Dance makes you an athlete. Dance pushes you beyond your limits that you would have ever dreamt of. Like there are so many positive things that come out of dance. Even because I feel like I'm not a dancer, I cannot freestyle, but just being able to
Mm.
move your body and flow and just do whatever feels good, what feels fun, that's essential. I feel like everybody needs that in their life.
I love that answer, but I want to ask another question on top
Mhm.
of that. You said you don't feel like you're a dancer. Is that imposter syndrome talking? Because you do dance. Because there are some of us out here that really can't dance. So like we take offense to that, like me included. So it's like is that like just like is that true? Really talking to the kind of imposter syndrome? Like, do you mean you can't dance? Like be like I mean I don't know. Like I feel like the dances like you guys do is like Beyonce. So I was like, is it like you can't dance like Chris Brown, I guess? Or is it like, that makes sense? That question makes
Yeah,
sense?
that makes sense. If this was stomp the yard and I had to get out in the circle and dance, I'm not doing that. That's why I say I'm not a
Okay, I got
dancer.
you.
Like if it's not choreographed, I'm not just going to get out there and freestyle. I'm not technically trained in jazz, in lyrical, in hip hop. I'm not technically
Mm.
trained in dance. So that's why I say I'm not a dancer. I just know how to dance.
But you can. But so you were saying that you wouldn't get out there in the middle, but you could if you wanted
I
to.
wouldn't want to because I'm not a dancer.
But could you? But could
Could
you if you
I?
needed to? Like life in the
I
line?
could. I could. And I would do something that I already
Yeah.
know that's choreographed. I wouldn't get out there and try to
Ah.
freestyle.
But I don't know. I mean, well, I'm not a dancer, and I have no. I don't want to claim anything to dance. I'm not. But I mean, I think that like I feel like I'm a really analytical driven person. So I feel like Chris Brown, I mean, he's like dancing music. I feel like he's just putting together pieces of like dances that he's done. I don't think he's ever doing anything new. But I could be wrong though. Well, I probably am wrong. But you know what I mean? So I feel like it's choreographed in his head too, but it's just like it's less put together, but it's still choreographed because like he's putting together different pieces of a dance that he's done before. Like I'm gonna do this little part here, then do you see
Okay,
what I'm saying?
so if that's your stance on that, do you feel as though you've seen multiple dances that are the same from him? Because if that's the
I
case,
don't
where you're taking bits and pieces and putting it together, it'll start looking repetitive. Coming from a choreographer
you
standpoint.
you right. And I would say no, but I would say no because I don't watch him that often dance, to be clear. But you're right though, because when I've seen him dance, it always does look different. So you're right. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're right. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. The second question is, are you underpaid or
Oh,
overpaid?
baby, I'm underpaid. Anybody, any coach in the cheer world will tell you we are underpaid. The sport itself is so underfunded. Like in the school system, sometimes the cheerleader teams, they're considered a club. They're not even considered under athletics. And then if they are
Mm,
considered under athletics, they're not even part of the budget. So they don't go to away games. They only get to cheer home games because they're not in the budget. And then for coaches, I remember when I
mm.
coached one of my very first coaching positions at Eastway Middle School. For the whole football, no, for the whole basketball season, it was a $600 stipend.
Oh wow. Goodness. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can only imagine.
Hey.
I can't remember exactly what my high school coach would get, but her stipend wasn't that much either. And we practiced from June, we had summer workouts all summer, football season, basketball season in February, March, and then tryouts again at like the beginning of June. And there's one stipend for that whole season. It's ridiculous.
Gosh. Why? Because I was going to ask this question, but I forgot earlier. Why is cheerleading like not considered like athletics, or why do you feel like it's not considered athletics?
I feel like the people that say it's not a sport, they only think of like go fight win. That's the only thought that they have when they think of cheerleading. They don't think that we're throwing 150-pound girls in the air. They don't think that we
Mm,
have to literally throw our bodies back on our hands, push through our toes, and then
mm.
land on our feet on the other side. We literally run and do 5, 6, 7 series tumbling passes. That's not hard. I'm heavy, okay?
I'm weak.
I'm heavy. Like this
Yeah,
stuff is not
yeah,
easy. You don't just wake up and know how to stunt. Like, no, you're gonna throw your back out.
yeah,
You're gonna have a bad wrist. Like, this is just not something you wake up and just do. And to say that, oh, it's just cheer, we can cheer. Let me see you do the cheer. And they do it and they look
yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
to say it's
You're
not
right.
a sport
You're right.
is very disrespectful.
Yeah, no, I agree because isn't gymnastics considered sports?
It's literally in the
So
Olympics.
like,
Literally in the
yeah,
Olympics.
yeah. So yeah, that's what gets me is like I feel like because I don't know if cheerleaders are offshoot of gymnastics or gymnastics are offshoot of cheerleading, but I know gymnastics is in the Olympics. I'm like, if gymnastics is there, then cheerleading has to be there by default because like
Yeah.
one came from
Yeah,
another.
actually gymnasts they say that like cheerleaders we like tumble rough. Like gymnastics, they're gonna work on the form, they're gonna do this drill a million
Mm,
times. Us, we're gonna learn the skill and we're gonna throw it. We're gonna be safe and we're gonna have some technique, but we're
Mm,
not gonna be pretty with it. We tumble rough.
okay. So there's like gymnast cheerleader beef.
I wouldn't call it
That
beef, but I would just say like, there are those gymnasts that are like, we don't tumble like that. We finish like this and y'all finish like this. But we just did the same skill.
mm,
Like it's just fun competition.
could a gymnast be a cheerleader?
I think so.
Could a cheerleader be a gymnast?
I don't know. I think it's harder to go from cheerleader to gymnast rather than gymnast to cheerleader. Because if you go from cheerleader to gymnast, you got to clean a lot of stuff up and you got to break a lot of muscle memory habits. Like the example I just
Mm,
gave, when you finish a tumbling skill, cheerleaders, we clean. Gymnasts, they have pretty hands or whatever the case may be. So it's just a lot of things to unlearn. Whereas
okay.
when you go from gymnast to cheerleader, it's kind of just like loosening up a little bit, loosen the what's the word, the reins.
That sounds like beef to me. Let, let's can you for the third question? Can you name one person, book, or event that changed like the trajectory of your life? For the I mean, it could be for the worse or for the better. Usually it's for the better, but
Mm.
either or.
Okay, and I'm gonna be real honest about this one. I
Don't be too honest now, because
yeah,
people gonna watch
yeah.
this.
I'm not gonna say who the person was in my life, but it was a person that was very close to me, still very close to me, means a lot to me. But the conversation was about life after high school, and I was expressing why I really
Mm.
wanted to go to a school, and it was because of cheer. And the response that that person gave me, can I cuss on here? Okay,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
response
What
that
you
they
gonna
gave me was,
do?
don't nobody give a damn about cheer. And so from that moment, I made it a point to make sure you give a damn about cheer because it matters to me
Mm,
that much.
yeah,
And for you to say that about a decision on my life and my choice, what I want to do after high school, is not your place to say. So
yeah.
that
Okay.
moment, like, and I'm real like I like to make a point. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's a little bit of the drive behind why I do what I do.
Okay, no, I like it. I like it. That definitely would push a lot of people to achieve like big things in their life. The last question, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, but how would because I mean the platform is based on career, entrepreneurial like apprehension, so understanding it, and then accessibility, so then getting into it. So staying true to that, how would a person they've been cheerleader, maybe they've never cheerleaded, but they want to start their own company. How would they come to Coach T? How would you tell them to get started and create their own Savage Cheer Life?
Well, first I would ask them, what service do you want to provide? Because for me, I don't advertise that I do tumbling privates. I only do it by request because that's just not my forte. You could also
Mm-hmm.
go into the business of opening up a cheer gym. That's kind of like CUC, Charlotte Ultimate Cheer. That's going to cost you a lot of more money up front. Do you just want to
Mm-hmm.
offer tumbling privates? Because there are coaches out there that just offer tumbling. Do you want to start a team, and a recreational team and have income from that? Like, what exact service do you want to provide? Let's start there. And then from there, you have to identify what's in your market. Like, what are your competitors? Because I know for me personally, over the last probably year, I've seen a handful
Mm-hmm.
of companies that do what I do come up out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I've been doing this a little bit longer,
Yeah.
just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
there, it's a passion behind what I do. Like, yeah, making money is
Yeah.
good, but I do stuff business wise and I do it for free all the time. And that's because I love what
Mm-hmm.
I do. So
True.
I think, yeah, start figuring out what service you want to provide first. Figure that out. And then figure out what your market looks like and where do you fit in that market.
I love it. I love That's a great answer. Well, Coach T, it was great having you on today. Give people all of give us up a shout out, like everything you're doing, like all your websites, like people can learn a little bit more about you, like where they can find you at, everything
Yes,
like that.
you can definitely find out more about me at my website, www.savagecheerlife.com. You can find me on Instagram at Savage Cheer Life, Facebook, Savage Cheer Life, TikTok, Cheer Like a Savage, or just search Savage Cheer Life. I'll pop right up. I think, yep, that's all that I'm on right now. I do have a new client special going on. You book 2 training sessions, get the third one free. I also have a team clinic special going on, starting at $300. And I also have team camp specials going on. And these specials run all the way through August 2023. So just send me a DM or click contact us on our website and we can get you booked.
Perfect. And where are you located? Like, what areas do you service? I guess is a better
Yes,
question.
I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I do travel to surrounding cities, pretty much anywhere in North Carolina.
Perfect. Awesome. Everyone, go support Coach T. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Definitely comment, especially if you want to hear more about the beef between cheerleaders and gymnasts. Drop a 1 in the comments. So everyone have a nice day. Thank you for tuning in.